and thank you for participating in the Poverty Bay Vashon Island Septic Maintenance Rebate Program webinar. This webinar will give you basic knowledge about how to maintain your septic system and have it regularly inspected. This will help your septic system work better and longer, protect you and your family from exposure to sewage from a failing septic system, and increase your property's value. This rebate program is offered by King County for septic maintenance activities performed in Northwest Vashon Island and Poverty Bay, and it is administered by Public Health Seattle and King County, King Conservation District, and ECOS. For language assistance, please contact ECOS at info@ecos.org. Our goal of this webinar is to clearly share the benefits of knowing how your septic system works and how regular inspections can protect the system, environment, your family, and your property. This workshop will also give you some tools to make sure that your septic system is functioning as well as possible and that you have it inspected. Today, we will be talking about environmental impacts that failing septic systems and other sources of pollution can cause, and what to keep in mind before, during, and after an inspection. Having this knowledge will help you become a good steward or caretaker to the Puget Sound, your community, and your septic system. Applying these tips will also keep the system operating for a longer time and more efficiently. Rebates for septic system maintenance are available through October 2022. There is a 3-step process to receive your rebate. First, make sure that your property is within the qualifying area. Then complete the maintenance your system needs and submit a copy of the invoice. The third and final step to qualify is to complete this course, which you're doing right now. Once you're done, remember to request a rebate within 60 days of completing all 3 steps. There are limited funds available, so I would suggest quickly adding that to your to-do list or marking your calendar. You can submit all the necessary paperwork online at www.kingcd.org/OSS. First off, let's talk about what an on-site sewage system is and how the different parts work to treat our wastewater. On-site sewage systems, or septic systems, collect the wastewater coming out of your house, treat it, and then spread clean water back into the environment. They are a miniature wastewater treatment plant right in your backyard. The systems process starts with wastewater from your home created when you flush the toilet, do laundry, or do dishes. The simplest type of septic systems use 2 steps to treat the wastewater: waste separation and percolation through soil. In the first step, wastewater enters the septic tank, where solids drop to the bottom of the tank to create sludge, and grease and oils rise to the top to create scum. Microorganisms act to break down the sludge and destroy some of the contaminants in the wastewater. With little to no oxygen present in the tank, bacteria that function in the absence of oxygen partially decompose the organic materials. Your septic tank should be serviced and pumped on a regular basis to allow the bacteria to do its job. If your home has a garbage disposal, you should use it sparingly because it will send more solids into the tank. Composting is a great alternative to dispose of your food waste. After the wastewater sits in the tank for about 1 day, the wastewater between the 2 layers of scum and sludge in the tank flows to a pump tank, or a distribution box, which sends it out into the drain field. In the second step, sewage moves into the drain field, where microorganisms use oxygen to eat the organic matter and treat the wastewater as it moves through the soil. After entering the drain field, the remaining wastewater is dispersed through small holes in underground pipes and is then absorbed by the surrounding gravel and soil. That was a quick general description of how septic systems work, but there are many different types of systems that use different technologies to make the wastewater even cleaner before it flows out into the environment. It's important to know what type of system you own because that will determine how often it should be inspected. We'll now watch this video on septic system basics from the Washington State Department of Health that introduces different types of septic systems.
Let's look at the types of systems in use today. The most basic type of septic system permitted today for long-term use is the conventional gravity system. The gravity system consists of three parts: the septic tank, the drain field, and the soil beneath the drain field. In Washington State, the conventional gravity system requires a minimum of 3 feet of native, undisturbed soil beneath the drain field. As wastewater flows from the house into the septic tank through the inlet baffle, heavy solids settle to the sludge layer on the bottom of the tank. Lighter materials float to the top, forming the scum layer. The clear liquid in the middle is known as effluent. The effluent flows through the outlet baffle into the next component of the system. If your system does not already have one, consider installing an outlet baffle filter. These filters fit into the outlet baffle of your septic tank and add an extra barrier that prevents solids from moving into the drain field or other components. If you have a concrete baffle, you may want to hire someone to retrofit a plastic baffle in its place. Concrete baffles tend to degrade in septic tanks due to corrosive gases. And remember to clean your filter every 6 to 12 months. Typically, gravity systems will utilize a distribution box, or D-box, to equally distribute the effluent into each lateral pipe in the drain field. Equal distribution of the wastewater into each lateral is critical to the long-term operation of the drain field. Once the effluent reaches the laterals, it flows out of small holes and into the surrounding soil, where aerobic or oxygen-loving bacteria and other microbes treat the wastewater by removing pathogens. This treatment is critical in protecting groundwater and surface water resources. Here we can see a cross-section of the drain field. The perforated drain pipe sits on a level grade with gravel. The gravel provides a space for the effluent to move. Above the gravel is a fabric layer to keep the upper level of fine soil from moving down into the gravel. Here's an example of gravelless chambers used in place of rock and filter fabric. Pressurized systems may be used where sufficient soil is present, but the wastewater needs to be pumped to a certain area of the property. Pressure systems are also used when the soil type requires a specific dosing or when vertical separation is 2 to 3 feet. In Washington State, pressurized systems need at least 2 feet of vertical separation, 12 inches less than conventional because of how a pressurized system distributes the wastewater. Pressurized systems start with a septic tank, just like a gravity system. After the septic tank, the wastewater flows into a pump tank and it's pumped to the drain field, where it's spread equally throughout the drain field lines. The pump tank accepts wastewater from the septic tank through an inlet baffle. The pump itself is located on the floor of the tank. There are 2 floats used to control the pump, the on and off float and the redundant off float. If the wastewater level were to drop below the pump could overheat and burn up. The redundant off float prevents the pump from turning on if there's not adequate wastewater to cover the pump. The on-off float turns the pump on as the wastewater level rises. The effluent is dosed every few hours and is spread out across the whole bottom of the trench. Some pumps operate on demand, while others use a timer to start a pump cycle. As the pump moves wastewater into the drain field, the level drops, dropping the float and turning off the pump, providing the soil with time to dry out between doses. The third and highest float is the alarm float. If the pump fails or too much wastewater enters the pump tank, the wastewater level rises and lifts the alarm float. This sounds an alarm on the control panel near the house. Push to silence it, and then call a licensed professional. The alarm is there to let you know there's a problem, so don't ignore it. Not all pump tanks utilize a float system. Some newer systems now use a transducer rather than on-off floats. Most pump tanks have some built-in capacity to handle wastewater during power outages. The pump tank has many electrical components that should be serviced by a professional. Working with electricity around wastewater can be very dangerous. Now let's talk about alternative systems. First, the mound system. Mounds can be used where there is only 1 or 2 feet of suitable native soil because additional vertical separation is built up in a mound of specially engineered sand. The wastewater is applied at the top of the mound and percolates down through the sand to the native soil below. Another type of alternative system is the sand filter system. A sand filter is basically a box of engineered sand and gravel which treats the wastewater. A sand filter requires only 1.5 to 2.5 feet of suitable native soil. The wastewater is applied at the top of the sand filter and flows down through the sand and gravel, receiving treatment. Then the pre-treated wastewater flows either by pressure or gravity to a drain field for final treatment and dispersal. There are several proprietary systems for properties that do not have sufficient native soil depth. One type is an aerobic treatment unit, or ATU. Aerobic systems need a minimum of 12 to 18 inches of soil. A blower or aerator injects air into a tank, enhancing the aerobic microbial action. This type of system will often require some form of disinfection, such as chlorine or UV treatment, before the wastewater enters the drain field. ATUs are proprietary devices and are required by the manufacturer to be inspected at least once and sometimes twice a year by a manufacturer's certified representative. Another type of proprietary system is the biofilter. Biofilters are designed and installed on properties where there is as little as 1 foot of suitable soil available. The manufacturer requires biofilter-approved professionals to design, install, and perform maintenance on these systems. Contact your local health department for more details. So, in general, as the vertical separation decreases, the complexity of the system increases. So do the cost and maintenance requirements. Alternative systems cost thousands of dollars more than your basic system. Protect the system you have because replacement septic systems can be very expensive. Throughout the years, many different containers have been used as septic tanks. Many are single compartment. Many are no longer safe or effective. Metal tanks, for instance, suffer from corrosion, and the lids have been known to collapse. If you have an older system installed prior to the 1970s, be careful of what might be in the ground.
Regardless of what type of system you own, you should keep in mind how important it is to keep it working properly. Along with the many health benefits mentioned, when a septic system is regularly inspected and maintained, you are also extending the system's life and allowing it to function as well as possible. It will also save you money in the long run because inspections can catch small problems before they become big, expensive problems. The goal of good maintenance is to prevent or delay problems with the septic system, especially septic system failures. When septic systems fail, they can contaminate water and expose you and your family to raw sewage in your yard or back up into your home. Sometimes there are cheap, easy ways to fix a system, but most of the time a new septic system needs to be installed or the house needs to be connected to sewer. Warning signs of a possible failure include an alarm going off or your drainage fixtures taking in wastewater much more slowly than usual. Also, in your drain field or the area where your septic systems are located, make sure to consider your system may be failing when there is sewage surfacing, bad odor, or very wet spots with lush green grass. Gurgling sounds in the plumbing system can also be a warning of septic system failure. If you experience any of these issues, contact a certified maintainer for problem diagnosis and solutions, and consult Public Health Seattle and King County for next steps. Treating wastewater with septic systems is a great way to prevent the contamination of groundwater and freshwater sources, and to protect the public from health hazards. But failures can contribute to fecal pollution getting into local streams, rivers, lakes, and the Puget Sound. Fecal pollution, or poop pollution, can be caused by many other sources too, like improper disposal of pet waste, improperly managed manure, or wildlife congregating in local parks. Poop can contain many disease-causing microbes like Shigella, norovirus, and E. coli. When people are exposed to these microbes by wading or swimming in polluted water, they can get diarrhea, vomiting, rashes, ear infections, or other serious diseases. As this map shows, pollution from poop is often a problem in King County. By taking this workshop and learning how to maintain your system, you are mitigating one of many contributing factors, failing septic systems. This will help your family, community, and the surrounding nature stay healthy. So what all is a part of septic system maintenance? First, you can find the type of system you own on your septic system record drawing, also known as an as-built, or from previous inspection reports. Most of the OSS record drawings are available online at www.kingcounty.gov/asbuilt. Updated record drawings or site sketches submitted with a time of sale inspection report may also be found on Online RME under Application History. Once you know what type of system you have, you should also check how often it should be inspected. Septic system inspections are required by state and county regulations. If you have a gravity system, it should be inspected every 3 years. Pressure distribution systems, sand filters, mounds, or other public domain systems should be inspected every year. Systems with lots of complicated parts, like aerobic treatment units or ultraviolet disinfection, should be inspected every 6 months. A great tip would be to keep a detailed maintenance record of when your system is inspected. How you use water in your house can impact how well your septic system works. Be aware of how much water your household is using. If you use too much water, your system can have a hard time properly breaking down organic matter. This chart breaks down usage by appliances. As you can see in red, leaks are a big portion of water being wasted, so you should frequently check for any plumbing leaks. Your septic system is especially sensitive to how much water you use at once, so try to spread out water usage as much as possible. Don't run all your laundry loads all at once, and run your dishwasher at a different time than when you are taking a shower. Another way to protect your septic system is to be careful about what you put down the drain. Toilet paper is made to easily break down in water. It is the only thing you should be flushing. You should also try to keep strong chemicals, cleaners, and additives out of the septic system. Pay attention to what goes down the drain to make sure particles or chemicals that can harm your system do not flow into it. There are some products that may mislead us to think they are safe to dispose of in the toilet, such as flushable wipes. This is not good for your septic system as it can clog the pipes and cause backflows or pipe blockages. Let's watch this video about what daily precautions will help our system and the environment.
Let's talk about what you can do to protect and care for your system on a daily basis. Garbage disposals grind up unprocessed food into fine particles, which can clog components of your system, like pumps or even drain field pipes and soil. Use it sparingly. An alternative is to compost. Make sure you have an outlet baffle screen installed to help protect the drain field. Doing your laundry has a big impact on your septic system as well. Space out your laundry loads to allow your septic tank to settle properly. If water flows too rapidly through the septic tank, solid material will not separate and could move on to more sensitive parts of the system. Limit the use of bleach. Bleach kills the helpful microbes which treat the wastewater. Liquid fabric softener can seriously alter the chemistry within the septic tank, hindering proper treatment. Installing high-efficiency washers and toilets can increase your septic system's life and save you money. Do not throw garbage into your toilets or feminine products and wipes of any kind, even those that are flushable. Kitty litter and pet waste of any kind should never go into your septic system. Some cleaning products claim to be safe for septic systems. This may or may not be accurate. Look for cleaning products which use everyday ingredients such as vinegar and baking soda. If you do use strong cleaning products, just use less. Never put paint, thinners, or strong chemicals of any kind down your drains. Many areas have disposal services for dangerous or toxic material. To dispose of unused medicine, bag it up and throw it in the garbage. Check with your local health department or pharmacy to find out whether a drug take-back program is available in your area. Do not drain hot tubs and water softeners into your septic system. There's no need to waste your money on septic additives. Just use your septic system properly. Let's talk about how to protect your drain field. It's critical to protect your drain field and reserve area. The reserve area is a part of the property set aside in the event that the current drain field fails. Protect your drain field from motor vehicle traffic, parked vehicles, heavy loads, and livestock. Don't dig, use heavy fertilizer or weed killer on your drain field. Also, be sure not to build anything over your drain field. Protect your drain field by diverting surface or roof water runoff away from it. Look for shallow root plants. Contact your local nursery or health department for more information about what's safe to plant over septic systems. This tree was planted in a below-grade sand filter. The tree roots completely filled all the pipes in the sand filter, and it had to be replaced. Your septic system requires routine maintenance. This includes inspection of all system components, pumping tanks, and cleaning filters when needed, and making sure repairs are performed. Risers increase accessibility to the system for you or a professional. They can also keep costs lower if a professional needs to service the system. If you do not have risers, you should have them installed.
It is also important to avoid any deep digging above the drain field. Depending on what type of system you have, the drain field may be only 6 inches deep. Trees and large shrubs should be at least 30 feet away from the system, or their roots will seek out the water in the drain field and can severely damage it. Cover your drain field with grass or other low-maintenance, low-water, shallow-rooted plants. Additionally, do not build houses, sheds, patios, or other structures over the septic system. Make sure to keep vehicles and livestock off of your system because heavy vehicles can break pipes and compact the soil, which limits oxygen exchange and makes it harder for natural bacteria to treat the wastewater. For landscaping, consider native plants as the option to suit the soil conditions and surrounding environment. Here are a few plants that are most suitable for your landscape and septic systems. With some suggested plant lists, there are plants that may be listed as Class C, such as ground ivy, or monitored lists, such as periwinkle, that are not native and may outcompete native plants. We advise you to check the list of plant seeds you consider planting so that non-native species can't spread and dominate the area. You can visit Washington State Department of Natural Resources website or Washington State Noxious Weed Control Board to confirm that you are planting native plants that are acclimated to your environment.
Now that you are equipped with some best practices and maintenance tips, the next step is to have your system inspected by an on-site system maintainer. The maintainer will inspect your septic system for leaks or malfunctions and examine the scum and sludge layers in your tank. Sludge and scum should be pumped out about every 5 years, but the frequency depends on how much water you use, the solids that go into the drain, and what type of system you have. During a septic system inspection, a maintainer can tell you whether your tank needs to be pumped. This is a great way to save money because pumping a septic tank is more expensive than an inspection. The cost of an inspection is usually a few $100s, and if small repairs are necessary, those will cost more. This will also vary depending on what activities the inspector performs and the state of your system. An inspection usually takes an hour or two. It's a good idea to be present during the inspection to better understand your system status and how to keep maintaining it. The maintainer will inspect all parts of your septic system. Depending on the type of system you have, this may include a septic tank, pump tank, treatment unit, pump, alarm, distribution box, manifold, filters, and the drain field and reserve areas. Upon initial inspection, they will determine whether the components are accessible, secure for maintenance, and if the system is working properly. If there are access covers or risers on your property, make sure the area is clear for the inspector to have easy entry. It is important that the maintainer inspects all parts of your septic system and performs any necessary maintenance like cleaning filters or resetting timers. In case your septic system fails and needs to be replaced, or your house needs to be connected to sewer, technical and financial assistance is available. We will work with you to find an option that works well for you. Call our office or visit our website for more information. King County has resources like the Homeowner's Septic System Manual and plant lists for landscaping that could be very helpful for homeowners. The Sanitarian of the Day can also be contacted at 206-477-8177 for any further questions about septic systems.
Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about your septic system and protecting your community from fecal pollution. King Conservation District can be contacted via phone or email for any questions you might have about the rebate. Your effort to maintain your septic system is one step towards cleaner and safer water, so thank you again and have a great day.